Hi, Eric Wilson here, independent licensed mechanic with 30 years of experience. In the next 6 to 8 minutes, I'm going to show you the inside story on this 2001 Chevy Silverado 1500 four-wheel drive so you can make yourself an informed decision. Now, coming in on the front left tire, you got about 50% tread on aggressive snow tires, and down but definitely not out. Coming behind the front left tire, this is the left outer tie rod, and you see for yourself it's been greased and well maintained. Important, because that is the only thing that holds the wheel to the chassis, and it is tight. The left lower ball joint right here is tight. Critical, holds the wheel to the chassis. The left outer CV boot, now it's full of grease. If it was ripped, you'd see grease all over the place. So this is important to be not ripped, and this is the left inner CV boot, and again full of grease, and it's not ripped obviously. This is your left sway bar length connected from here to here. Now the importance of that is that it controls the sway when it goes around a corner and dampens it. Now this right here is the leak point. This is where the drive shaft comes out of the diff, and if it's going to leak, you'd see it right here, and you see for yourself no active leak. This is your front brakes. You got about 30,000 K on your front brakes. Your left upper tie rod, your left upper ball joint is greased, well maintained, and tight. Your left shock, if you follow that up, it's full of oil. If it was leaking, you'd see it dripping all the way down there. That is tight. This is your left sway. This is your left torsion bar. Instead of a spring, you have a torsion bar, and it just comes back. It connects in here. No cracks, no breaks. So your spring suspension is intact. This is your left. This is your left catalytic converter. Now, nothing wrong with it. Trouble is, people are reaching under and going cut, and you got yourself $1,000 repair. Now, if you buy the vehicle, come to me. I'm going to put a free catalytic theft protection system on it, so that's not going to happen. Now, another leak point. This is where the drive shaft comes into the front diff. If it's going to leak, you see it right here, good and dry. This is the bottom of the motor here. No active leak that I can see. The bottom of the transmission, good and dry. Another leak point would be right here where the drive shaft comes out for the rear, and good and dry. Another leak point would be right here where the drive shaft comes from the transfer case to the front, and that is good and dry. So far, leak-wise, brake-wise, suspension-wise, on the left side, I'm not seeing anything of any issue. Coming across to the right front tire, gaining about 50% tread on aggressive snow tires, down but not out. The right outer tie rod is well maintained and tight. The right lower ball joint is tight. The right sway bar link connector from here is good. The right outer CV boot, full of grease, not ripped. Right inner CV boot, full of grease, not ripped. Right here is another leak point if it was going to leak, because this is where the drive shaft comes out to the front right side, good and dry. The right lower ball joint is tight. Your brakes, 30,000 K. Your right upper ball joint is good and tight, well maintained. Your right shock, if you follow it down, good and dry. Right inner CV boot, good and dry. And the leak point right here is good and dry. So brake-wise, leak-wise, suspension-wise, on the front, no issue that I can see. Following your exhaust down, follow your exhaust down. All intact. You're up and over. There's your no issues with your exhaust. Another leak point right here where the drive shaft goes into the rear diff, good and dry. Bottom of the rear diff, good and dry. The right rear shock, good and dry. Right rear spring suspension, no cracks, no breaks that I can see. Rear brakes, 30,000 K on your rear as well, okay? And another leak point would be right here where the drive shaft comes out of the diff. It would see moisture along in here, good and dry. So brake-wise, leak-wise, suspension-wise, on the right rear side, no problems that I can see. Got your class 3 hitch, your hookup, your spare tire, all intact, all there. Coming across to the left rear tire, about the same, about 50% tread on a left and right, about 50% tread on aggressive snow tires, down but definitely not out. Left sway, but left, okay, your left shock, good and dry. Your left spring suspension, follow it along. no cracks, no breaks. Brakes are gained about 30,000 K on your rear brakes. And another leak point right here would be where the left drive axle comes out, and it is good and dry. So brake-wise, leak-wise, suspension-wise, I'm not seeing anything of any issues so far. Okay, with motor running, 225, 343K, no check engine lights. Haven't got my seatbelt on, that's why that's flashing. And yeah, no cracks in the windshield that I can see. Dash looking nice and clean. With the motor running. Shot of the exhaust for the motor running. Very clean. Now, first thing I do on any motor is I always take the cap off to see if there's any indication of white goo, which would be a mixture of oil and antifreeze, which would be a big problem, an internal leak, and I don't see any indication of that. In fact, I don't see any indication of this motor being anything other than well maintained, no knocks, no issues that I can see. Yeah, very, very good runner, and I know for a fact that the owner was meticulous in taking care of it, and because she's just one of those people. And so, what I'm seeing so far is nothing of any major concern, but I want to show you a feature at the back. I built this frame strong, all square tubing, bolted, welded, and strong enough to take an I-beam with a trolley that comes all the way out and drops to the ground, can pick up motors, trannies, anything heavy that you want to have and not break your back. Now, I've also made this part of the trolley removable. If you see what I've done here is I've got, in fact, I'll just show you a shot with it removed. Okay, now the back part is removed, trolley off, there, all comes apart. So this is a very, very handy truck if you're going to use it for lifting any kind of things, or you can just take the whole thing off. Like it's only on with 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts. The whole thing can come off, or you can just unbolt the trolley. It's up to you. You can have it or not have it, but that's a feature that you've got on this truck. Okay, you do have some rust issues happening here. It's been repaired once, but not very well. Another surface rust area is right here. Other than that, though, there is no major rust issues on this vehicle. So hopefully this will help you make an informed decision whether this is for you or not. And the asking price is $5,000, and if that works for you, I know you're going to get yourself a really decent vehicle with a lot of miles left on it. Thank you very much. And don't forget, if you buy the vehicle, come to me, catalytic theft protection system, and I'm going to throw a 10% fuel saving device on it as well. I've done it for 20 years, never fails. That's if you buy, and that's free of charge. Have a good one, and if this is not the vehicle you're looking for, by all means, let me know what you're looking for, because if you find it, you can bring it to me. I'll do the same video inspection for you. Only going to cost you $100, and you'll know for a fact whether, and that'll include the insurance inspection as well, because I'm licensed to do that. So hopefully this will help you make an informed decision. Have a good one.